where we make your dreams come true. Today I will discuss a new chapter of organic chemistry. And the chapter name is Organic Chemistry, that is some basic organic chemistry, some basic principle and techniques. So before moving to in details about organic chemistry, let's first discuss what is organic chemistry. Technically, organic chemistry is a study of, initially, organic chemistry is actually a study of chemistry whose origin is living organism. Mostly in the previous time, the chemistry which has originated from living organism, maybe it is a plant or animal, deals with organic chemistry. But later, it was realized that even organic compound can be made in labs or by industrial method. So organic chemistry's definition has been modified later, and now according to modern chemistry, organic chemistry is a study of structure, property, composition, reaction of carbon compound. This is the most important thing, that is carbon compound is the study of organic chemistry. What is generally carbon? In every organic compound, you will find one compound or one element which is very much common, without which you cannot say that any compound is organic in nature, and that element is carbon. And with carbon, you will find hydrogen. So carbon and hydrogen are the most prime element which comprises a organic compound. Apart from that, organic compound also contain nitrogen, oxygen, halogen, phosphorus, etc. But predominantly, any organic compound is basically consists of carbon and hydrogen. No organic compound you will find in nature which do not contain carbon and hydrogen, and they are called organic in nature. Okay, so now let's move that what is the classification of organic compound. Organic compound are first classified into two broad categories, that is acyclic and cyclic. Acyclic means where the chain is open, or we can also call it open chain. Open chain, and this is also known as closed chain, where both the end is, in one case where both the end is open, and in another case where both the end is closed. Further, this open can be further classified as a straight chain and branch chain, whereas cyclic can be further classified as homocyclic and heterocyclic. Homo means similar type of elements are there. Hetero means there are different type of element present. This homocyclic can be further classified as alicyclic and aromatic. Aromatic compounds are further classified as benzoid and non-benzoid. So we will discuss each and every category in details to understand what is organic compound in altogether. So let's move on further. As we have discussed that any organic compound is specifically called hydrocarbon. That is, they contain hydrogen and carbon specifically. But apart from hydrocarbon, they also contain another group of atom and molecule attached with that hydrocarbon, and that is called functional group. Let me give you an example. Here, just take it an example of, look at this compound. Here the compound consists of only 3 carbon and your 8 hydrogen. So specifically this is a hydrocarbon comprises of formula C3H8, which is a hydrocarbon. But if I replace one of the hydrogen with a functional group, like let me give you another example with the same way. Yes, now look at this compound. Here there is carbon, there is hydrogen, but here there is another group which is also present, and that is your OH group. And this OH group is the functional group. Now the compound is definitely C3H7OH. Now I hope it is clear that what is functional group. So let me clear it once again, that functional group are the atoms or group of atoms which when attached to the hydrocarbon, they change the chemical and the physical properties of the hydrocarbons, and they will now behave differently according to different type of functional group. And now we will see what are the different type of functional groups out there. So yes, these are the list of functional group which when attached to the hydrocarbon, they have their specific functionality. They will show characteristics property in terms of physical as well as chemical behaviors. So let's move. The first one, very important, that is carboxylic acid. Prefix is now they can be used when we are mentioning the functional group. We can use it as prefix or suffix, which I will explain when I will explain you how will you name an organic compound. So first let's see the prefix and suffixes of the functional group with their symbols. So these are the list of the functional groups and their prefix suffixes. The first one is carboxylic acid, whose suffix is oic acid, and it is generally determined by COOH. If I break COOH, it is like this. One double bond carbon is double bonded with oxygen, and same with another OH. As we know that here carbon will actually show only 4 bonds, not more than 4, not less than 4. So this is the structure or this is the functional formula of functional group carboxylic acid. Next one is acid anhydride, which is another thing. Acid anhydride is when we combine 2 carboxylic acid together and remove one water molecule, we will get acid anhydride. Like, let me give you an example and it will be more clear to you. Like, if you take carboxylic acid to any 2 carboxylic acid, and you remove the water, that is here you remove OH and here you remove H, it can be vice versa case. So now your compound will be like this. And this is the structure of anhydride. So exactly this is the structure of anhydride is all about. It is like whenever 2 acid, which can be of any number of carbon acid, combine together and a water molecule get replaced or get removed, this is we get is called acid anhydride. Then another form of carbon came, another form of functional group, that is ester, whose suffix is OH. So this is like acid, but instead of acids hydrogen, another molecule of alkyl group, that is carbon compound related group, will get added. So this is also a derivative of acid, ester. Next one is acyl halide, which we also known as acid halides, whose suffix is oil halides. This is the structure where any alkyl group and then it is combined with carbon, double bonded oxygen, and then X. X could be anything. X could be a fluorine, chlorine, bromine, or an iodine. So these are your acid halides. Next is your amides. Now, yes. So what is amide? The structure of amide is very much similar like halide but acid halide, but here instead of halogen you will put a NH2 group, that is amine. So the structure will be like this. So instead of it is like an alkyl group, then a carbon with a double bonded oxygen, and then NH2. So this is the structure of amide, where R can be any number of hydrocarbon. Next is your nitrile, or nitrile can be prefixed as cyano and suffix is nitrile, which is specifically nothing but CN group. If any alkyl group is related or just attached with the cyanide group, the cyanide group suffix is known as nitrile, but whenever we go for prefix, we will use the term cyano. Next is the very famous and the very important one, that is aldehyde. As we know, the structure of aldehyde is like any type of alkyl halide, and in one side it will be only hydrogen. So specifically this is the structure of aldehyde. And last one is ketone. Now what is ketone? Ketone will be same as aldehyde, only difference is here both sides there will be alkyl group, no end will be of hydrogen. Okay, now let's move to other. Among this, alcohol is very important, amines is important, ether is very important, and then there is alkene, alkyne, nitro, alkane, alkene, and alkynes. As you know, these are the most you will come across while solving any type of organic equations or organic questions. So what is alcohol? Alcohol is basically OH. When any carbon group is attached with OH, its suffix is ol. The same way, what is amine? Amine is nothing when any carbon group is attached with NH2 directly. This type of structure is your amine. In the same way, what is ether? In ether, oxygen is single bondedly attached with two same or different alkyl groups. Next is the most important is alkene. Now what is ene? The moment you will see ene, you should know that whenever a compound contains double bond, then double bond is signified by the term ene. Okay, in the same way, if the compound has carbon is bonded with another carbon by triple bond, then it is signified by term ine. And if it is related by single bond, then it is ane, that is alkane. And of course there is nitro. What is nitro? Nitro is NO2 group. If your carbon is related with NO2, combined with NO2, then we call it a nitro group. And another is alkyl halides. So halogens. Now who are halogens? You should know. X halogens are generally fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. If they are attached directly with your carbon, then we call it halo compounds like bromo, chloro, fluoro, and iodo. So these are the list of functional groups which when attached with the carbon compound, they show distinct characteristics according to the functional group nature. Organic compound, we realize one thing, that organic compound is little different from inorganic. Inorganic, we didn't have to we didn't have to give name by ourselves to the compound. There are wide range of organic compound in our chemistry. So, IUPAC, who is IUPAC? It is an organization that is International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. They set a rule that where we don't have to memorize the name of the organic compound, but instead of what, they have set some rules, and if we follow the rule, we can give the name of the organic compound by ourselves. So there can be a million of organic compound and we didn't have to memorize them. We just need to keep few rules in our mind and we can name them. And that process of naming organic compound according to the given set of rules are known as nomenclature. And now we are going to study that rules. So what is the first rule? The first rule, okay, first we will discuss the rule and then I will give you some of the example through which we will see that how this rule we are applying while naming the compound. Okay, so now let's move to the ruling. First rule is always select the longest chain containing maximum number of carbon, and this longest chain is called the parent chain. Yes, so this is the first thing you have to take, always keep in mind, it has to be longest continuous chain. You cannot break the chain. Chain may or may not be straight, that is okay, but you cannot break the chain. Okay? Okay, now look at this example. Here, how can you select which chain is longest? Okay, now you can take this chain where contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and it's a continuous, or you can take this chain where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 5 carbons, or you can take 1, 2, 3, 4, but what we will prefer? We will prefer the longest one, that is this one, because it contains 6 carbon. So this explains the first rule, that we have to always take the longest continuous chain. Now, when we have already selected the chain, now this carbon is not in the chain, this CH3 is not in the chain. So what we will do with this? We will call this carbon which is not in the chain as a substituent, and then we have to name the substituent also. Now, how will I name it? Always remember, whenever we are doing the naming, we should give the numbering of carbon in the way that the substituent will get the lowest number. So just think of it, if I start counting from this left side, this carbon where there is a substituent, this carbon will get number 4. But if I start counting from the right side, then this CH3 will get 3. So I will start counting from the right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now how will I name it? This will be 3-methyl. Always name the substituent first. 3-methyl and substituent are always named as I. If there is 1 carbon, then it's methyl. If there is 2, then it's ethyl. So 3-methyl. How many carbons are there? 6, and they are all single bonded. So it will be 3-methyl hexane. Hex because there is 6 carbon, and ane because they are all single bonded. I hope it is clear, the first 2 rules. Now let's move to the third rule, that what will be the logic when there is more than one substituent in your similar positions. How will I name it if there are more than one similar substituent in different or in the equal positions? At that point of time, we will go for lowest locant rule, which I will explain you. There are 6 carbon as a parent chain, and there are 3 substituents count it from here, if I count it from the left side, it will come in the position of 2, 3 and 5. And now if I count it from this position, it will also give 2, 4, 6. So how do you think which position you will add? So in the case, if I count from left hand side, the 3 substituent position will be 2, 3 and 5. Whereas if I count from right hand side position, it will give me 2, 4, 5. So if you add these two positions, you will see that 2, 3, 5, 5 plus 5 is 10. Whereas in this case, this will be 11. So by adding the position, you will see that this is lower one. So I will give the carbon counting from this one only, and so my name of the compound will be 2, 3, 5 trimethyl. Of course, because there are 3 methyl groups are there, trimethyl hexane. I hope it is clear how your Loess-Loken rule works. Okay? Let's discuss rule number 4. Rule number 4 says if there are 2 or more different substituents are present at the carbon chain, then we will add them as a Loess-Loken rule, and of course we will also follow alphabetical orders. Okay, so like if there is a substituent group like methyl and ethyl, then E comes before M, so you will name ethyl first, then methyl. So this is the alphabetical order you need to follow while naming. Second is, of course, if there are 2 or more type of substituent, as we have done we have seen in the example, then we have to use di, tri or this type of thing, tetra. Next is if 2 or more different type of substituent are present, then you have to use alphabetical orders. Let me give you another example where it will be more clear to you. Okay. Now look at this compound here. This is the longest chain, so which is consist of 5 carbon. So there are 2 substituent groups are there. One is methyl group and another one is ethyl group. So how will I name it? If I count it from here, so this will get 3 ethyl and 4 methyl. If I count it from here, so it will getting 2 methyl and 3 ethyl. Okay, so how will I name it? In both the case, we are getting 3 ethyl, so we will give it 3 ethyl 2 methyl pentane. So look at this alphabetical order. Who has more preference or alphabetical order? You have to write them first. So this is how you have to do if there are 2 or more substituents are there. So I hope it is clear. So let's move to the different sets of rule where functional groups are involved. Like always remember, if in a hydrocarbon there are functional group, double bond, triple bond and substituent group, then your preference will be first preference will always go to functional group. So you will always give first priority to functional group, then your second priority will comes to double bond, then triple bond and finally it will comes to substituent group. Okay, to explain this logic, let me explain you with an example. Okay, now look at this compound. Here there is a functional group OH and then there is a double bond. So who I am going to give more priority? I am going to give more priority to functional group. So my counting, that is my lowest number, will be given to this carbon. So my counting will start from here. 1, 2, 3 and 4. So how will I name it? It will be butene 3 in 1 all. So it will be but 3 in 1 all. You always remember your functional group will always get first priority, then your double bond, then your triple bond and substituent. Even if there are double bonds and triple bond in the compound, double bond will get more priority than triple bond. I hope it is clear. But what if there are one or more functional group? Then how will you prioritize one functional group over other? So here there is another rule you need to know if there is more than one functional group in a compound. Always remember, if there is more functional group, first always preference will be in this order. Anhydride is the bigger one. So if there is anhydride in a compound with other functional group, it will always go first. Anhydride has the first priority. Then ester, then acid halide, then amide and then cyanide. In the same way, between aldehyde and ketone, aldehyde is more preferred and ketone is little less than aldehyde. Then alcohol and finally amines. So, if there is one or more functional group in a compound, always remember whose priority is more, they will always preferred as a principal compound or a principal functional group. Whereas, who is less, they will be treated as a substituent. Let me give you an example and it will be more clear to you. Now look at this compound. Here there is two functional groups. One is keto group and another one is aldehyde group. Now it's very easy to recognize in an aldehyde group and a keto group. How? Always remember, aldehyde never come in between the chain. Aldehyde always remains in the terminal position, that is at the end carbons, at the end of the carbon chain. Whereas keto always remain in between the carbon chain but not on the end carbons. So here as we see, both aldehyde and keto functional group are there, but aldehyde is more preferred than ketone according to our list. So aldehyde is our principal carbon chain. So my counting will definitely lowest number will get to aldehyde. So this is your 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So how will you? So now the keto will just act as a substituent. So how will I write it? I will write it as a prefix term. So what is the term of prefix? It is oxo. The prefix of keto is oxo or keto. So it is 4-oxo pentanal, as there are 5 carbons. I hope it is clear. In this way, if there is 2 or more functional group are there, you have to prioritize it in the similar way. Like, let me give you another example with a little more type of compounds are there. Now look at this compound. This compound is consist of 2 functional group and 1 substituent also. Always remember, if there is a functional group, it can never be a substituent chain. It has to be a principal chain. So COOH is the biggest one, as we have already discussed. So COOH, that is carboxylic acid, is my principal functional group, whereas OH, that is alcohol, is my substituent functional group, and then there is another substituent. So how will I name it? Of course, my numbering will start from here. So how will I write it? It will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Always remember, never forget your alphabetical order is important. So you can write 5-hydroxy, which is the suffix of alcohol. 5-hydroxy, 3-methyl. And how many carbons are there? 6 carbons. So it will be hexanoic acid. I hope it is now clear that how, if there is 2 functional group and substituent, you are going to name it. Okay, now let me give you some more example in a more critical manner, so it will be more clear how this whole thing works. Let's take this example. Here both double bond and triple bond is there. So how will you prioritize and name it? As we have already discussed in the previous rules that if there is double bond and triple bond is there, we should first go by double bond. Priority of double bond will be more than triple bond. So your numbering will be from here, that is from the lowest one. So of course, how will you name it? Here there are 5 carbon. Of course, so how will you name it? It will be pent 4-ine 1-ene. So it will be pent 4-ine 1-ene, or you can go for 1-ene 4-ine, whatever you wish for. But numbers are very much. So I hope it is clear. Now let's move to some of the exercise questions through which we can get a clear view about the nomenclature. Okay. So let's discuss the first question. Here is the question and you have to name the IUPAC of this structure. As when I was explaining the type of organic compound, I have already mentioned you that there are 2 types of chains are there. One is open chain and here this is a closed chain. So now look at this. This is a closed chain thing and then this is the compound. So how will you name it? How many carbons are there? There are technically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the main chain there are 6 carbons are there. And then this 6 carbon and this is your substituent, that is CH3 is your substituent. And you need to keep in mind that there is also a bond which is a double bond. So I have to count it in the same way where I will get the lowest number. As it is a symmetric structure, so if I count this carbon, if I give 1 to this carbon, 2 to this, then 3 this, then this is the lowest number my methyl group can get. So this will be 3-methyl cyclohexane. So what will be the structure? You can see it. So the structure is 3-methyl. Of course, methyl is my substituent. Cyclo. You have to if it is a closed chain, then you have to write the term cyclo in every compound just before the parent. That is the only difference between open chain and closed chain. So what will be my answer? My answer is 3-methyl cyclohexane. I hope it is clear. Now let's move to next question. Yes, this is another type of organic compound. They will represent you and this is called bond line structures. Now what is bond line structure? These are very condensed form. Okay, where these nodes are your carbon. These nodes are your carbons. And whatever written is your another thing, that is substituent. So let me write it in a proper way so you can understand what it is talking about. Here the nodes are all carbon. Here the nodes are all your carbon thing. Okay. So how will you go for it? Now look at this structure and you will understand what they are talking about. Here, all these points, these nodal points are your carbons. Here, all these nodal points are your carbon. So, and this thing, hydrogens are not shown, and these things are your substituents. So now, how will you going to match it? How is your thing is going to come? So let's see. One is CH3 for this one. This is then this carbon. Then I move to this carbon. Yes. And this carbon is also attached with a methyl group. So let me write it like this. Then I will move to this carbon. here there are two carbon attached to as a substituent group. So like this, CH2 and CH3. So basically this is a ethyl group. Then rest are like this, CH2, CH2. There is no more complications. From here 1, 2, 3, 4. So CH2, and for this final one there is another CH3. Now this is the structure of the bond line structure. I have the condensed form, I have expanded it in a simpler way. So always remember, in the bond line structure, the number of lines are basically the bond, the number of nodes are the carbon, and they just hide the hydrogen. And if there is another molecule instead of hydrogen, then they just write it there. So now you can easily name it. You will start counting from left hand side. So you will see that at the 4 there is ethyl and at 3 there is methyl. So alphabetical order, you will write it first ethyl. So this will be 4 ethyl, 3 methyl, and there are 8 carbons are there. So it will be easily named as octane with no double or triple bond. So my option 1 is the answer. I hope you understood this bond line structures. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Next question is, okay, so this is the structure they are talking about. Here there is one halogen is there is a double bond, and then there is a alkyl group. So you have to name it in that particular way. So how will you name it? Always remember, you have to priority here. Your functional group is bromine. So you have to prioritize bromine, okay, over and double bond over this ethyl group. So how will you name it? So you have to count it from here only. So what will be your answer? I will count it from here. 1, 2, 3. Why? Because bromine is actually a functional group here. So, and then there is 4. So how will I name it? So it will be, always remain, bromine has no suffix. So I have to write it in the prefix. How will I write it? It is 3-bromo because it's at number carbon 3. Then after bromo I will go for this compound which is ethyl. So 3-bromo, 5-ethyl. As bromine B comes before the E. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 carbon and there is a double bond at 4th position. So it will be hept 4-ene. So my whole answer is 3-bromo, 5-ethyl, hept 4-ene. So option C is the correct answer. I hope now it is clear that how will you proceed if there is bromine and normal, if there is a functional group, a double bond and also a normal substituent. Okay, let's move to the next question. We have to write the IUPAC of yes. Now look at this. We have come to little complicated one, though it is easy. Let me write it in a proper way. It's CH3, CH, double bond, CH. Now look at this structure. Here it is double bond O, O, C2H5. Now look at this. Here there is a functional group which is ester. Yes, it is ester, this functional group, as there are 2 alkyl group connected with the acid formation, and then there is also a double bond. But I have to give first preference to ester. While naming a ester, you should know one thing, that ester while named in 2 parts. The part that is this one, which is attached with single oxygen, they are written as I. That is, here there is 2 carbons, so it is ethyl. and the part which is attached with double bonded carbon, they are wrote as it is with a term OH. OH signifies ester's suffix. So now how will I write it? As there with single bond oxygen, there is only 2 carbon is attached. So definitely my answer starts with ethyl. Okay. Now let's move here. Here there is 1, 2, 3 carbon. There are 4 carbons is there and there is a double bond. At which, so if I count it from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 2 and between 2 and 3 there is a double bond. So how will I write it? I will write at but 2 in O8. So this is the answer or one O8, that is ethyl butene 2 in O8. So which answers go with this? Option B go with this. How you have to name if there is a ester. In the case of ester, if there is unsymmetric carbon which is attached with a single bonded oxygen will be written as substituent like ethyl, propyl or butyl, and which is attached with the double bonded oxygen carbon, that is carbon with double bonded oxygen, you will write it with OH at the end because OH signifies the ester functional group. Let's move to the question number 5. What is this? This is another question and let me write it. This is CH3OC2H5. Yes. Now by the structure you can see this is basically the functional group like this. So this is ether. So in the case of ether we have to use the term oxy. But you can see here it is a unsymmetric ethers are there. Like in the one side of oxygen there is 1 carbon and in other side there is 2 carbon. So if this type of situation arises where there is 1 carbon in where there is greater and lesser carbon in both sides, then we have to do what? That the side which has lesser number of carbon we will write it with oxy, and the side which has greater number of carbon we will write it as it is. Like let me write it here. Lesser number of carbon is there, so oxy will go with this. So it will be methoxy, and here there is greater number of carbon, so it will be ethane. I hope it is clear. Let me give you another example in this context and it will be more clear. Like suppose in one side there is 2 carbon and in another side there is 3 carbon. So how will I write it? The side which has less carbon it will go with oxy. So we will write ethoxy. And the side which has greater number of carbon we will write it as it is. So it will be ethoxypropane. I hope now it is clear that how will you name ester. So with that we have completed the naming of all the hydrocarbons with functional group, with double bonds, triple bonds or substituent group. That's all for today's video. If you like this video, like, share, subscribe Newton Gate. Thank you.